Previously on Todd Reacts.
I'm obsessed with this shit now. I'm obsessed with this shit now. I'm obsessed with this shit.
And now for the conclusion.
Hey guys, tonight we are going to be doing a Q&A, questions and answers. I think that's what that stands for, right? So whenever I go to the grocery store, I'm often approached by the horny housewives, and they ask me various questions, and I decided to compile a gigantic list of 78 questions that they've asked me. Obviously, that's not true, the story that I just told, but we're doing a question and answer period. So let's get right to it. This question, am I ready? Yes. So that was an easy one. How old are you?
41 and a half.
Are you gay? You're gay. Are you a Nazi? Do you even know what Nazi means? Are you transphobic? Where were you born? I was born in London, Ontario, Canada. Also the birthplace of Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. I believe they both dated, and they also both starred in The Notebook, I believe, which is a very popular movie, but I did not see that movie. Unfortunately, I'd like to watch it one day, but I have not seen it as of yet. Kind of interesting that they were both born in London, Ontario, though. What are your hobbies? So if you've been watching my YouTube channel, you probably know that already, but I play drums, I play guitar, and keyboard a little bit as well. And so I make music, been making music for a long time. And I play Doom, various video games, but I play mostly Doom, and I build Doom levels, and I do record Doom demos, speedruns basically. And I also design TV antennas, and I build them as well. And I install them. I climb up a tall tower to the top of the tower, and I install it. And I also hunt for TV channels with those TV antennas. And so my hobbies are basically my entire life. Whenever I have free time, I am working on my hobbies. And I haven't been able to do them since April because of my wrist. I have problems with my wrist. And it's been tough, and I literally wish I was dead. I'm not even joking. Boxers or briefs? This is a good question. Not really, but I am a boxer brief guy. So I guess neither. Yeah, specifically the long leg boxer briefs. I really like those. You got to have the long legs. And also specifically the Hanes brand. It's a specific model in the Hanes brand that I don't know what it is. But it's like a synthetic fiber. It's modal, and it's a modal, and I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, and cotton blend, I believe is what it is. Extremely soft. The best underwear I've ever had. I just bought them on Amazon a couple years ago, and just to see what they were like, and they were amazing. By far the best underwear I've ever had. Currently wearing them right now. And a little side story here. So I bought them a couple years ago, and then about a year ago, I went to buy some more, and they weren't available anymore. And I was like, oh, come on. These were my favorite boxers, and now they're discontinued, so I was very sad. I was very depressed. I was suicidal. Not quite. But, and I mean, I say that, but every other pair of boxers I tried are just garbage compared to these Hanes ones. And then about a couple months ago, I go back on Amazon, and I just come across them again. And they're available again. And so I bought a couple packs of them. And so I'm set. I'm set for the foreseeable future. All right, what's next? Do you have any tattoos? I have one tattoo. It is on my chest. It is very small. It is the initials of my ex-girlfriend. Now, whenever you go get a tattoo, the tattoo artist always tries to dissuade. Is that a word? To dissuade you from getting like words or people's names and stuff like that. That guy did. But they're just initials, and it was very small, and it was in red. And so I got it when I was, how old was I? I was 16 years old when I got the tattoo. So that would have been in 1999. A long time ago, 25 years ago. And it's very faded now, so you can't even, I don't even know if you can tell that I have a tattoo, so it's not a big deal. Do you have any piercings? I do not at the moment. I have had piercings. I had a friend. He was really into piercings back in the late 90s. And so he had lots of piercings. And so I eventually did get a piercing. I got my eyebrow on that side and my eyebrow on this side. Both my eyebrows done. And I also got my septum pierced. However, I had like, what's it called? Like a barb. It was more like a staple. It looked like a staple that was in there, but I put it up into my nose, so you never actually knew that I had it. And it was a really stupid idea for a piercing on my part because I blow my nose all the time because I have allergies and stuff. And so it just always got in the way, and I just took it out. As for my eyebrows, I had like barbells or whatever, and my skin eventually started to reject the barbells, and so I just took them out as well. Are you a virgin? Who wrote these questions? Shockingly, no, I am not. When did you lose your virginity? Okay, I just have to scroll down here. When did you lose your virginity? How old was I? I was 16 years old. And she was 15 years old. And apparently it was the first time for both of us. Now, it was my girlfriend who I have the tattoo of the initials on my chest. Now, however, I did have the opportunity to lose it back when I was 13 years old. When I was a young 13-year-old kid. Because I had another girlfriend, and she was in the same grade as me, but she had stayed back a grade. So she was a year older, and my birthday's in December and her birthday was in February. So she was almost 2 full years older than me. And I was going out with her, and she was pressuring me to do more stuff. We were just making out, but she was pressuring me to do more stuff, including she wanted to have sex. But I don't know if this is going to be plausible, believable, but I told her I wasn't ready. I was only 13 years old. I wasn't ready to have sex. Even though I was definitely interested in girls and all that. But I felt like I was too young. And I'm glad I did that because I feel like I was way too stupid back then and I could have had a kid too early or something like that, you know? She eventually, I believe, did have a kid in high school, so... But I had my opportunity. Oh, I just remembered, actually. Later on in high school, in like the 10th grade, I think, or the 11th grade, they sent out these surveys that everyone in the school, everyone in all the classrooms had to fill out, all the students. One of the questions was, are you a virgin? And or have you had sex or something like that? And I lied. I said I had sex once, but I hadn't at that time. But I sort of took my opportunity to have sex into account, which was lying, but I just remembered that. So there's my confession. When was the last time you were with a girl?
When did the Challenger blow up?
86.
Yeah, it was like 3 years before that.
Have you done anal on a girl? Wow, these are very, very graphic questions. No, I have not. And the reason I added this was because I'm sort of a prude when it comes to sex and stuff. Like, specifically with anal, I'm not even interested in wanting to do that. I think that's kind of gross, to be honest. That is where they shit from. And I don't want to get in there. Who the hell wants to get in there? That's just something I don't understand. So, yeah, I'm not interested in anal. I would make a horrible homosexual, wouldn't I? Actually, I thought about that. Are there any gay guys who don't like anal? Who are like prudes? They just like do hand jobs and stuff? I don't know. Well, we're going off track here. Most embarrassing moment. Okay, so my most embarrassing moment. So this girl who I have the what's this called? A tattoo with the initials. So I moved to Newfoundland when I was 14. So I spent grade 10 and grade 11 in Newfoundland. And I immediately when I saw her, it was like love at first sight. I was just so into her. And I wanted to try and get in a relationship with her immediately. And so eventually she agreed, and we were sort of on and off again. Now, she kept breaking up with me because I am socially and romantically retarded. So she kept breaking up with me because I'm an idiot. But we ended up getting back together. Anyway, I lived there for 2 years, and during the summer of my last year there, like a few months before that, I learned from my parents that we had to move back to Ontario, which was 1,000 miles away. And so once I learned that, me and her, we started to go back out again. And our relationship just got so good. Like, it was never that great because it was my fault. I was an idiot, but we really started to connect, and our relationship got so good. It was amazing. And then fast forward to my last day. So it was the summer. So my last day there, in the morning, I go to her house, and her mom takes pictures of us and all that sort of stuff. And then I had to go home because I had to leave because I was moving. And so she walked me to the bridge, and then I was going to walk home, and then she'd walk back to her house. And so we get to the bridge, we hug and we kiss, and then I just realized at that moment that as soon as we leave, like, our relationship had been going so high, and it's just going to absolutely crash as soon as we leave each other. And I just started bawling right in front of her. Just started crying like crazy. And then she started crying too. But then we left. And I remember just sitting on the bridge for like 15 minutes, just crying like a pussy. But that's not even the most embarrassing part. The most embarrassing moment. This is just the lead up. I'm leading up to the most embarrassing moment. So I had told her, so I got the tattoo before, like about a week before I moved, because I told her, I'm going to move back. I'm going to move back here after a year, and I'll get a job. I was 16 at the time, and because I was obsessed with her, I was totally in love with her, and I wanted to do that. She was all I thought about, and so I moved. We tried doing the long distance thing. I would call her like before school, and she was an hour and a half ahead of me time wise. And so I would get up really early and call her before school. And then I would also call her later at night after school. And she obviously got tired of that fairly quickly, understandably. And you could tell she eventually didn't want to do the long distance thing anymore. She just wanted to get on with her life, which is understandable. And so by February, that was the last time we spoke on the phone. And so, but I was still like, I thought about her all the time. Couldn't stop thinking about her, and I was very depressed. And so I decided, in the winter after my school year ended, I was going to move back, and I was going to, so that I could show her that I really meant what I said. And I meant what I said and how I felt about her. And so I ended up moving in with my friends, into my friend's parents' house over in Newfoundland. I dropped out of high school, and I moved into my friend's parents' house, and I got a job at a fast food place. I was working in the kitchen, flipping burgers, making French fries. And so like a month before I moved back, I was talking to my friend, and he said that she had a new boyfriend. And so I was like, okay, well, whatever. That's sort of expected because, we haven't talked since February. Yeah, but I had to go there anyway. I just had to do this so that I could show her how I felt. And so I do that. And so I'm working. I was at work I was on break, so I had to go to the bank to withdraw some money so I could pay my friend's parents some rent. And so I go to the ATM machine. Notice there were a couple people at the ATM machine, so I just stop and I'm like keeping my distance, and I take out my wallet and I get my card out, and all of a sudden I hear Chris, and I look up and it's my ex-girlfriend with her new boyfriend, and then we just make whatever, some like small talk or something, and then they leave. And I remember as soon as they left, I'm just standing there with my card in my hand. I'm in my fast food uniform. I reek like French fries. And I'm just standing there thinking like, what the hell did I just do? Like, I just completely ruined my life just to get humiliated like this. And I felt like such an idiot and a complete pathetic loser. And it was completely self-inflicted on my part because the warning signs were totally there. And I just chose not to acknowledge them because I wanted to prove to her how I felt. And so that was a disaster. And then I ended up moving back to my parents' house shortly after that. But that was my most embarrassing moment. All right, that was a long story. Favorite food? I don't know. Pizza, maybe? Yeah, homemade pizza. My homemade pizza, I think I would probably say that. Favorite color? Ooh, that must really annoy the Americans. I have an OU on favorite and an OU on color. That's because I'm Canadian and we use British English. So I'm not trying to trigger you Americans. Favorite color? Extremely, very, 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 very dark green is my favorite color. Favorite TV show? I honestly don't know. I don't know what I would choose, but I think I'm going to pick Judge Judy. Just for the memes. Favorite movie? Okay, I've got a lot of movies that I like, but I think for my favorite, I'm going to pick In the Company of Men, which was from the late 90s. I think it was 97. It was very low budget. It had like a $10,000 budget, which doesn't sound super low, but it was filmed on film, so you have to buy the film. But I really like that movie. Very much enjoy that movie. I would recommend that movie to anyone who wants to watch the movie. So it's basically about these two guys who work in a company. One of them is like a Chad. The other guy's like a beta male. And they both decide that they're going to sort of court this deaf girl. And they're each going to go out with her. But she doesn't know that they're in cahoots. And I think at the end of the movie, it's basically Chad wins. And who plays Chad? I think his name literally is Chad too. Aaron Eckhart. He does a really good job at doing that. And I think it's Matt Malloy. It's Malloy or McCoy. I forget which one. Astrological sign. I am a Sagittarius, I believe. Not that I care. But I thought I would add that to the list. Do you have allergies? I do. I'm allergic to grass. This background here is really triggering me. I'm allergic to grass pollen. So basically the month of June is my worst enemy. I hate that month a lot. I'm also allergic to ragweed. So that is like mid-August to mid-September. And I'm also allergic to nuts. Not testicles, but like peanuts and whatnot. I'm not deathly allergic. You know how a lot of, like on TV shows and movies, someone gets exposed to peanuts and then there's possibility of them dying. But no, I just have a mild allergy. And so if I were to eat something that has peanuts in it, I would know immediately because my throat would get itchy and it would swell up a little bit. It wouldn't swell up hugely, like exaggeratedly, but, and I think that's it. Those are my only allergies. Oh, your celebrity crush.
Obsessed with this shit now. I'm obsessed with this shit now.
Fuck, marry, kill. Now, I've never actually played this game, but I've seen it online. I've seen it in TV and movies. And there aren't any people associated with this game like there normally are. However, if you ever play this game, if you ever see it and you want to contribute to this game, the correct answer is always kill, 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 then fuck, fuck, fuck. So just as a joke, you should say it as a joke. This isn't for real, but so next time you try and play the game, it's usually as like FMK, and then you have to choose the letters. So it's always KKK, then FFF. So that is a necrophilia joke. What are you streaming? Okay, I'm currently not streaming anything. I'm currently watching The Outer Limits on DVD. But before that, I was watching a lot of movies. And my favorite are horror movies and sci-fi movies. And it's for horror movies, I'm more into like psychological horror. Also for sci-fi, more psychological sci-fi, if that's a thing. I'm not really interested in the action-oriented style of movies. I'm more into the psychological stuff. But I will literally watch anything if it has like hot 20-something-year-old girls in it. I will definitely watch anything. Doesn't matter. What music are you listening to? I am currently listening to this, actually. It's kind of funny. I don't listen to music really. Besides the videos. Sometimes I do listen to music. Actually, lately I've been listening to some of my own albums, the Octopus Core albums. But like I don't listen to music very much. I mean, I used to listen to music all the time, obviously, it's funny to say that because I'm a musician and I don't listen to music. But, when you're younger, you get interested in music by listening to a lot of music, and that's what I did. But since about 15 years ago, my interest in like listening to music sort of went away, and I really don't listen to music very often at all. This music here, this is music I wrote as well. I played it on keyboard. This background music we always listen to in these videos. Favorite baseball player. My favorite baseball player is Kelly Gruber. He used to play on the Toronto Blue Jays back in the early 90s, maybe even in the late 80s. But when I was a young kid, I used to play baseball. I was really interested in baseball. I never played in a league, but I would always play before, during, and after school, and then also in the summer months. Just pick up games. And a couple years I went 2 years in a row as Kelly Gruber for Halloween. I dressed up as him for Halloween. So that would have been in grade 3 to grade 5. However old I was back then, I don't know. What sports did you play? So baseball was one of them. I also played tennis. I love tennis. I had to stop playing tennis because I was sort of given an ultimatum by my parents whether I could stick with hockey or stick with tennis because both of them cost money. And so I ended up choosing hockey, but I wish I would have chosen tennis. But what can you do, right? I also played hockey, obviously. I did track and field. I also played volleyball in high school. Or was it high school? Yeah, it was high school and junior high. I'm trying to think what else I did. I said track and field. That's probably it. I think I played basketball for 1 year, but yeah, that's probably it. Also various other sports. I like playing badminton for fun. Do you drink alcohol? No, I do not. Ugh. The last time I had a sip of alcohol was in 2012, I think. It's like 12 years ago. I don't like the taste. I used to drink when I was younger. In high school, I got drunk a lot. Just one night I drank too much and I lost the taste for it. So I don't drink anymore. Do you do drugs? I do not do drugs. No, I used to smoke weed back when I was younger. But last time I smoked weed was in 2018 when it became legal in Canada. I I bought it off the government website, and I smoked one joint, and it absolutely hit me extremely hard. I was not expecting that. And then I haven't smoked it since then. And before that, before 2018, the last time I smoked it was for my 30th birthday, which was in 2012. So I think it's safe to say I don't. Do you smoke? I do not. I smoked cigarettes occasionally in high school, but that was always really gross. And it used to give me a headache. So do you like to party? I do not like to party. Shocker. What do you drink? Okay, this is in terms of non-alcoholic beverages. I only drink 2 things. I literally only drink water and 1% milk. Those are the only things I drink. Do you like chocolate? I absolutely love chocolate. I have chocolate every single day. I'm not even joking. For breakfast, I have some, what are they called? Chocolate chips in my pancakes. Just a few chocolate chips. You can't have too many. I literally only have 6 chocolate chips per pancake. I have to count them out because, you know, they have a lot of sugar and fat. So you just got to get the taste. And then I also have homemade double chocolate cookies for dessert at night. About 45 minutes ago, I had 2 of them. They were amazing. Yeah, love the chocolate. Do you have any pets? I do not. At the moment, I used to. Star Trek or Star Wars? I'm a Star Trek guy. Yep, definitely like the Star Trek, and I do not like Star Wars. I think Star Wars is stupid, and I hate it. That's just my opinion. Now, for Star Trek, I'm considering just the TV series. I'm not really taking the movies into account. And so, obviously, Star Trek Next Generation, Star Trek Voyager, those are my favorites. I also like the original series. And I haven't watched much of Deep Space Nine. And I've barely watched any of Enterprise. And I feel like there's another one, but I can't remember. Let's go to the next one. Favorite season. My favorite season. Okay. It used to be fall. However, I don't know, that may have changed. So there are various things about each season that I like and I don't like. So let's start with spring. So the good thing about spring, so spring starts in March. So the snow pretty much is going down in March, usually. Yeah, by March 20 something. So that's good. However, it's usually pretty wet in the springtime. Pretty wet and muddy. And then at the end of spring, so like for 3 weeks, the 3 weeks at the end of spring, that's when grass season starts. So yeah, I think spring is a no-go for me. And then what's after that? Then we have summer. So summer is bad because at the very beginning, we have grass season. And then at the end, in August to September, then we have ragweed season. I also don't like the hot weather. At least I never used to. I'm not minding it as much lately, which is nice. But yeah, it's just the allergies. They get at me too much. They get to me too much. And then we have fall. Fall is really good, except at the very end of fall. Yeah, fall is my favorite, but at the end of fall, it has the potential to snow in December. So I have to, and I'm also like getting stressed out about plowing the snow because I know it's gonna start soon. And then also, I think that's it. Fall. Yeah, and then we have winter, which obviously there's snow and cold weather. My skin gets very dry in the winter time to the point of cracking and bleeding. So I do not like the winter anymore. It keeps getting worse as I get older. So if I had to answer, I would say fall. Autumn. Do you have any regrets? I have a whole lot of regrets, yes. Almost every single decision I've ever made, I regret. Not everyone, but like there are definitely some decisions that I do not regret. I'm happy that I made them, but I have a lot of regrets. I know some people say, that they have no regrets, but I have a lot of regrets. If I could do stuff over, I would definitely do it over just to see what happens. But what superpower would you want? And this ties into the previous question, because I think the superpower that I would want, well, one of them at least, this is something to actually sort of fantasize about. Like if I'm in bed or something, I'll just start like thinking about this. And it's like, what happens? So if you die, what if you suddenly gain the ability to relive your past experiences, and you get the ability to make different choices, and then you can keep going back and redoing and making different choices over and over and over just to see how it plays out. I always thought that would be cool. And I basically like to relive my life and try to make it better. So it's either that, or I would like to freeze time so that I could have sex with girls without them knowing. That's just a joke, by the way. I mean, that's a fantasy, but I would never actually do that, obviously. But if you want to see some very interesting porno, it's a Japanese porno, and look for time stop porno. It's pretty interesting. Favorite hockey team. Okay, so my favorite hockey team that I like to watch lose is the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I was a big Leafs fan. As I mentioned earlier, I played hockey growing up. And I stopped playing, and then I stopped watching hockey as well. But then I got back into hockey back in 2007, I think. I started watching again because the Toronto games were on TV a lot. And so I'd watch them. I would cheer for the team. The team was very bad at that point in time. They were really good up until 2004. And then they were really bad. And so they never made the playoffs anymore. And so I started watching them in 2007. And then in 2012, they finally made the playoffs, and they made it to Game 7 of the first round, which was really good because they were down 3-1 in the series. And then they won their next two games. It was against Boston. All Boston had to do was win 4 games. So they were up 3-1. Boston was up 3-1. And then Toronto wins 2 games to tie the series at 3. And so now it's Game 7. So whoever wins Game 7 wins the series. And so I forget where the game was, whether it was in Toronto or whether it was in Boston. But Toronto was winning the game 4-1 with in the third period with about 10 and a half minutes left. So they're looking really good. They're going to win the series. They're up by 3 goals. And then Boston scores. So now it's 4-2. So Toronto's leading by 2 goals. And so time keeps going down. And then as time gets down, there's like once they get like to 2 minutes left in the game, the team who's losing will pull their goalie to try and, because when you pull your goalie, the goalie has to go to the bench, and then you can put another skater on. And so you can basically have 6 skaters on 5 skaters. But with the stipulation being that there's no goalie in your net. So it's very dangerous. And so that's what Boston did. They pulled their goalie, and then it was 6-on-5 against Toronto, and Boston scores with their net empty. And so now it's 4-3, and there's still like a minute left in the game. And so they drop the puck, and they go back in the Toronto zone. They pull their goalie again, and Boston scores again to tie the game at 4. Very, very rare to see that happen. 2 empty net goals. I think that's probably the only time I've ever seen it happen. It's happened before, but... and so now it goes to overtime. So in overtime, it's next goal wins. It's sudden death. And Boston scored in overtime to eliminate Toronto in 2012. And so that was devastating. I was a fan of them back then. But after that, They had another couple years when they didn't make the playoffs after that. And then they drafted this Austin Matthews guy who's really good. And once they did that, they switched their team up. They got a new coach. And they started to make the playoffs every year. However, they still can't make it out of the first round. They still keep losing in the first round. They have an absolutely horrible playoff win percentage over the last 8 years. So I think they've made it 8 years in a row now to the playoffs, which is the best out of any of the teams in the entire league. Meanwhile, they've only made it past round one once in 8 years. And that was 2 years ago, I think. And they lost in the second round. They only won one of their games or something. Last year, they lost again in the first round. So I always look forward to the playoffs with Toronto now, because they always make it now, but I always cheer against them. And when they always get knocked out in the first round, it makes me so happy. I don't know why. That was a long story. I'm sorry about that. Favorite pizza toppings. Okay, so in the pizzas that I used to make, I would put on bacon strips, broccoli, and mushrooms. I love that combination. Super love that combination. However, if I were to order a pizza, I would get chicken, bacon strips, and mushrooms. That is my top tier. However, when you order a pizza, I feel like the mushrooms are really hit and miss. So I don't even know if there's a pizza place that has decent mushrooms. I always just go to the grocery store and I'll get, the fresh mushrooms right there, the fresh white mushrooms. And they taste amazing. But yeah, chicken, bacon strips, and mushrooms. That's my favorite. Is it true that you ate pizza every day for over a year? That is definitely true. Yes, I did that. Now, it was like 14 months. Literally every day for over a year, I had a homemade ultra thin crust pizza. And except for like 5 days because I went out for supper. But I live out in the middle of nowhere, so I don't have the opportunity to just go grab something. And so I would always make my own suppers, and I ate a homemade pizza every day for over a year, except for 5 days. And I ended up losing 73 pounds. So very healthy pizza. I made my own dough from scratch, and I didn't use a lot of cheese. And I used good ingredients and very, 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 very thin crust. Favorite cereal. Okay, so I'm 41, obviously, and so I don't eat the sugary cereals that I used to like. I do eat cereal every single day. However, it's like old people cereal. So the cereal I eat is a mixture of, on the bottom, it's a small bowl. I don't have a big bowl of cereal. It's a very small bowl of cereal. On the bottom, I have shredded wheat, the scoop, the bite size shredded wheat with bran. So shredded wheat with bran, the bite size ones, it's basically the same as frosted mini wheats without the frosting, without the best part. And then on the top, I have some chocolate Cheerios. Now, you might say chocolate Cheerios, it's chocolate, it's obviously bad. However, look at the nutrition facts on the back of chocolate Cheerios. It's surprisingly not bad for you in terms of the sugar amount. It doesn't have much sugar at all, and I was shocked by that, especially compared with other cereals. Other other chocolate cereals, or other fruity cereals, or other supposedly healthy cereals. They have like way more sugar than chocolate Cheerios. And the amount of chocolate Cheerios I use is not very much at all. Like I said, my bowl of cereal is very small. Now, in terms of sugary cereals, it's been a while. It's been several years since I've had a sugary cereal, but I remember liking Crave. That was a relatively new cereal, but it's really good. It's like a graham cracker coating, and on the inside it is chocolate. Really like that. There's a bunch of other cereals. I'd like to do a cereal tier list one day, but I'd like to be able to do a taste test as well. So I need to get a bunch of cereal, and I'm going to do that one day, hopefully. Do you like Wizards of Waverly Place?
No! I don't watch Wizards of Waverly Place.
Did you have long hair? Yes, I did have long hair. I started growing it in grade 12, I believe. When, basically when I moved away from Newfoundland, I just started growing my hair. And I never cut it for 9 years. The top of it, that is. I did have an undercut because my hair was thicker, like on the sides and the back. And so, but the top, I didn't cut for over 9 years. So it was very long. I do have I think I'm going to post a picture of it, but it was, I liked having long hair. It was something I always wanted to do. However, it was very high maintenance, and I just decided to cut it off one day. And now I just shave my head all the time, and I don't have to do anything with my hair. What are your favorite books? That's an easy question because I think books are stupid. I mean, I sort of think that, but I mean, I could elaborate, I guess. I used to think I was a slow reader, but then I realized I can read fine speed-wise. It's just I have this OCD thing where I have to reread. I have to keep rereading sections in order to memorize them. And it takes forever to get through a whole book. It's just like I can't stop doing it. So I don't like to read, and so I try to avoid reading as much as possible. Do you drink coffee or tea? I do not. I think I already said earlier that I only drink water and milk. However, I do enjoy walking down the coffee aisle at the grocery store. It smells amazing. But in terms of drinking coffee, coffee's disgusting, and tea is even worse. Do you lift? Did you get vaccinated for COVID? I did not. I was going to at the very beginning, and then something happened and I wasn't able to go, and I just never did it after that. So I didn't end up getting vaccinated, and I went to jail for 8 years. So now we have some YouTube questions. Why did you join YouTube? Okay, so I joined YouTube in 2006, way back in 2006, in order to upload some Super Mario Kart time trial videos. Now, so back then, we would just, I forget how we uploaded them back in the day, but we had direct links to our videos, and they were like really compressed. The file sizes were very small. And then people started using YouTube in order to show their videos, show their best times. And so I started doing that as well. However, like at the beginning there, I would make videos with a digital camera. And so I would make a video. I would record the television screen when I would play back my race. And then I would upload it to YouTube, but YouTube would screw up like the frame rate. And so it was very choppy. And I think there was some syncing issues with the audio and the video. And so I stopped using YouTube for that reason. And I started using Yahoo Video. Unfortunately, Yahoo Video disappeared a couple years later, and I lost all my videos from there. And then I went back to YouTube after that. So that's why like my earliest video is from 2008, I believe. But I did try to upload earlier than that. It's just they didn't display my videos properly, so I never published them. What's your first YouTube video? My first YouTube video was probably, I literally just said it, a Super Mario Kart video. Now, I do have a really old video. I do have a really old video that's unpublished. So what are we going to go? We're going to go to my videos. Can I sort it by date? I think I can. Yeah. So this one 2007. Okay. So this one I uploaded November 1st, 2007. It's private. So I've tried to publish this, make it public. However, it changes the date when I publish it. And it uses the publishing date as opposed to the uploading date. And so this is Mary had an abortion. Yeah, I'll show the video right now. Hey guys, time of death. Here to give you some lessons on the guitar. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, wait, let me do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck. What's your most popular YouTube video? Oh, I shouldn't have closed my YouTube section right here. My most popular YouTube video is a Grand Theft Auto 3 video that I made. So let's go to view your channel. And we will go to videos. And we will do popular. Okay, so yeah, GTA 3 PS2, 100 packages, 100 hidden packages before the first mission in 5603, 12 years ago. I don't know what the date is, doesn't show it. What is 12? So probably 2012 then. 2012 or 2011. Now, I know, I have the views turned off. However, I know that it has like 1.7 million views. It is by far my most popular video. And if you go up to here, you can see the total views is 1.7 million views, and that is from this video. None of my other videos are even anywhere near the popularity of this video. This video is actually pretty interesting. So it's sort of like, it's not really a speed run. It's more of a, I don't know what the word is, like a side quest video. So you have to get the 100 hidden packages before the first mission in 5603. So basically, when you pick up all the hidden packages in the Grand Theft Autos, you get weapons at your hideout. And so by getting all the hidden packages before the first mission, you can get all the weapons, including the rocket launcher, before you even start the game, basically. And so you can, if you do that, then you can play the game with all of the weapons, which is something you're normally not supposed to be able to do, because there are 3 islands. And you're basically stuck on the first island until you do a bunch of missions. And then the second island is unlocked. And then the same thing happens. And then the third island is unlocked. And the hidden packages are all over all 3 islands. So normally you're not supposed to be able to pick up all these hidden packages before you start going through the story missions. But I showed a bunch of tricks. I saw some tricks online that I used in this video, and a couple of the others I came up with the route myself. A couple of tricks I came up with myself as well, and I came up with a way to collect all the hidden packages before doing the first mission. For some reason, this video got a lot of views. I don't know why. I remember posting it on a couple web forums, but I have not looked at the analytics, so I don't know. Maybe that'll tell me why it got so popular. But definitely by far my most popular video. It looks like, yeah, most of them are Grand Theft Auto 3 videos. Okay, so let's close this once again. We'll go to the next one. What do you watch on YouTube? Okay, so I watch a lot of YouTube now. I watch a lot of YouTube. And so what do I watch? I have it written down right here. So I'm currently watching the ROM Hack Wednesday series by Cosmic. It's ROM Hack Wednesday. It's Super Mario Brothers 1. All of the custom ROM hacks. So he plays through a bunch of them. I think he did 97 videos, and I'm currently on like 30 something. Very cool. It really makes me want to start making levels for Super Mario Brothers 1. I haven't played that game in so long. But I used to play that game, and you know, if I can do that again, if I can play video games again, I'd like to do that. I like to get into making levels for it as well. I also watch Asmongold. I like watching his videos. I watched Elise Eklund videos and Eden Eklund videos. They're sisters. They each have their own YouTube channels. And I also watch various right-wing conservative videos, you know, where they bash the loony left. I like those ones. And I also watch the stand-up comedy, bunch of stand-up comedy videos. I think I just finished watching all of Joe List's videos. So he's a good one. So that's currently what I'm watching on the YouTube. All right, now we have some music questions. When did you start playing guitar? I started playing guitar when I was 12 in 1995. I mentioned this before. Yeah, 12 when I was 1995 when I was 12. When did you start playing drums? In the year 2002. So 7 years later. How old would I have been? I think I was 19 at the time. Why were your first albums mostly instrumental? Why is that? Because I never wrote lyrics back then. Back in the day, I never wrote lyrics. I thought lyrics were stupid. And some of my songs had vocals, but I was basically just making noises. So I never wrote lyrics. Also, my vocals were not good. I could only do like the low style of vocals. I could do a little bit of the high style, but basically lack of vocal ability and lyric writing were the reasons. I mean, I still think lyrics are stupid, but I do write lyrics now. Why do you keep changing your band name? Okay, so in 1999, I started my band. It was named Time of Death. And then in 2012, I changed the name to Nostril Caverns. And before 1999, it was Crippler. And then next year, so basically from 1999 to 2012, that's 13 years, right? And so from 2012 until 2025 is another 13 years. So I had the idea of changing my band name yet again next year. So, which I am planning on doing. I just don't know what the name is going to be yet. And why am I doing that? I don't know why. It's sort of like a tradition now. I got tired of the Time of Death name, and so I just decided to change it. So Nostril Caverns. That's a name I came up with. I didn't come up with it as a band name. I remember I was at my mom's place, and we had like a bit of a family get together, and my sisters were there, and I was talking to my sister, and we were talking about allergies or something like that. And I said, my nostrils are like caverns. My nostrils are like caverns. When we were talking about allergies, and that stuck with me. And then it was after that, I don't know how long after that, but I switched my band name to Nostril Caverns. And now I have to think of a new name, and I just don't know what to use. It's probably just going to be one of my song titles or album titles, but that's still undecided. Did you take music lessons? I did not take music lessons. I was self-taught, but also I had help from a couple friends who showed me how to play like a riff or something like that. Now I was in a classical guitar class in high school for 2 years, but I had already been playing guitar for a couple years before I went in there, so I was already experienced. And those classes weren't really they were more for like beginners, I guess. Drums, for the drums, I like my best friend. He was a drummer, and he was a really good drummer. And I used to go to his house, and I would just watch him play drums a lot. So I think that helped a lot as well, just watching him play drums. Can you read music? I cannot read music. No, that's a little above my pay grade. So I mean, I can read tabs, but that's not sheet music, really. What are your favorite lyrics?
I want to have intercourse with you. Ooh, yeah, intercourse with you.
Relations.
Do you actually like your Octopus Core music? I literally have a boner right now. What was your first metal album? Okay, so I don't think White Zombie would necessarily count towards that. So in 1997, I went to visit some friends back in Ontario. I'd moved to Newfoundland and I went back to Ontario to visit some friends, and I ended up buying the cassette version of Cannibal Corpse, Tomb of the Mutilated, and Deicide, Once Upon the Cross. So those were probably my first metal albums, and there are some very extreme metal albums as well. What's your favorite band? So I think it would probably, if there was a gun pointed to my head, I would probably say, I don't know. I can think of like 3 of my favorite bands, but I'm going to say Thought Streams. What's your favorite album? Okay, so it's either between the one I just showed you, Thought Streams New Metal, or it is Normal Love, their 2007, I think, album. It's either 2006 or 2007. I think it's 2007. That's the name of the album, 2007. Amazing music, though. What's your favorite album you made? Who's your favorite guitarist? So I would say Alex Nagel is my favorite guitarist. He was the guitarist in Thought Streams, the band I just showed you. He was also the guitarist in Normal Love on their 2007 album. I would say he's my favorite guitarist. Now, I've tried to mimic his style somewhat, but he is he's really good at shredding as well, and that's something I don't do. But specifically in his note choices, I try to incorporate his note choices into my improvised playing, and I think I do that pretty well, like shockingly well. But he's just like a virtuoso. Who's your favorite drummer? So for this, I would say Zach Hill of the band Hella is my favorite drummer. In my Octopus Core music, that's basically me pretending like I'm Zach Hill. Even though I'm not really doing the same type of beats he does, but I'm sort of doing an impression of Zach Hill. Amazing drummer, though. Who's your favorite bassist? This is a very, very easy question because I think bass is stupid. What's the first song you learned on guitar? So I think technically it is Ode to Joy. I don't know who makes that. Some like classical composer. But like when I got my first guitar, I also got this little tiny pamphlet, very thin. It had like a few pages. And one of the things that it showed you how to play was Ode to Joy. That was like the first thing that it showed you how to play. And so that's what I learned. Now, in terms of an actual like song that I wanted to learn, like on the radio or something, it was Glycerine by Bush. or Bush X if you're Canadian from the mid 90s. Glycerine, yeah, my friend showed me that before we walked to school one day. You say your band has been around since the 90s, but I've never heard of it. Well, I guess you don't know as much about music as you think you do, because I've been around. Oh boy, have I been around. Actually, I have been around. It's just people haven't been interested. So even though I've been around, no one really, well, I guess some people care. A couple people care, but the general consensus is that meh. But I still very much enjoy making music, and I've been doing it for a long time. Now, in the very early days, in the 90s, like I didn't start... I'm trying to think when I put stuff online. It was either 99 or 2000. So I would record on cassette tapes starting in 97. And yeah, I mean, we recorded on cassette tapes, me and this other guy, and we showed our friends the cassette tapes. So some people knew of us. What's the first song of yours that you put online? Okay, so now I don't even know what the name was. And I don't have it. It's really stupid. I have like a whole bag of cassettes that I keep forgetting to show on camera, but I used to record on cassettes, and I recorded like a multi-track recording of one of my songs on the cassette. It was just 2 different guitar parts, but that was like my first demo song. I recorded a few of those, and I put one of them online, and I showed it to one person. It was this girl in a chat room that I used to go to on Napster. This was either 99 or 2000. And she was the girlfriend of the guy who owned the server. This was the Unlord server. Very cool underground chat room where all the cool people hung out. And it was actually a really cool place. And I'm not even joking. It was really cool. And so I finally figured out how to digitize stuff from my cassette tape. So I'd had to like hook up my cassette player to my computer, and then I would be able to digitize it, and then I uploaded it. But it was just 2 guitar parts. And this girl, Fallen Angel, what was her name? She listened to it. And the way I did the multi-track recording was I recorded it first on a cassette, like the first guitar, and then I borrowed my sister's boombox and I brought it in my room, and I turned the volume up and I played back the tape, and then I played guitar along to the playback of my first guitar part. So now we have 2 guitars going, and I record that onto my cassette deck. And then I digitized that into my computer after the fact. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that digitized. It's on one of my cassettes, and I would have to go through all the cassettes again, just to figure out where it is. I may have even recorded over it. So I don't know. But that would have been in 99 or 2000. My first song with drums was The Lost Valley of Dissection in the year 2000. I actually had an mp3.com website. Like back in those days, you could sign up for mp3.com and you could upload your music for free. And there were a few sites like that. Also IUMA, I don't know what that stood for, but that was another one of those websites where you could upload your music for free. So those were the first 2 sites I used. Also Napster, obviously. What guitar tuning do you use? Back in the day, I used lower tunings, but ever since, I think 2008, I've just been using standard, E standard. Actually, back in the day, I used a slightly different tuning. I used like 7-string guitar tuning, but I only had a 6-string guitar, so So what am I trying to say? So it was like a 7-string guitar that had no high E string. So if you're a guitarist and you know what that means, that's how I tune my guitar. It's different than a normal 6-string guitar tuning. One of the strings is tuned slightly different. Why aren't you in a real band with other members? First of all, how dare you? Second of all, I'll give you a little sneak peek into the music business. So people join bands because they have to. So people need other people in order to create music. So, people play different instruments and they have different strengths and whatnot, and they need to band together in order to create music. Now, that's in the majority of cases. Now, in my case, I don't need anyone else. I can do it all by myself, and I don't have to compromise because I can do each instrument and I can record it and whatnot. And so I find that much more fulfilling than being in a band because I get to do everything myself, and I feel really proud whenever I finish recording an album and releasing it. Whereas if I'm in a band, then I'm only like a part of the band, and I don't get that same feeling of satisfaction that I get with my solo stuff. And so, but that's not to say that every musician needs other musicians in order. That's why they join bands. Some people, because if you're doing like a solo project like I am, then you can't play live, and that's a deal breaker for some people. And so some people can do all the instruments themselves, but they really want to be able to play live, and so they do go in a band. But in my case, I'm much happier doing it this way, just by myself, relying on myself. I could go into a rant on why being in a band sucks. Maybe I'll save that for another video. Oh, so now we're into the video games. Okay, first video game, I don't even know, to be honest. It was probably Super Mario Bros. 1. We used to have a Nintendo back in the day, so I'm assuming that's what it was. Now, my dad also had a computer. He did have a Commodore 64 at one point. I'm pretty sure I played a computer game on his computer, but I don't know if that was before or after playing Super Mario Bros. 1. I'm not too sure, but it was probably Super Mario Bros. 1. Favorite video game? Now, my favorite video game is probably Doom. I've played it a lot, and I've made a lot of levels for it, made a lot of demos. So I would definitely say Doom. Doom 2, by the way. Doom 2, not Doom 1. Doom 1 is horrible compared to Doom 2. For the simple fact that it doesn't have the super shotgun, and it doesn't have like some of the other monsters, like the Archvile and the Revenant. Favorite Doom mod? Honestly, I don't know. I played way too many Doom mods. I wouldn't even know where to which one to list as a favorite. So I'm sorry, but I can't say. Newest video game you played? I was thinking about this actually, and obviously because I wrote this question myself, but to be honest, I think it was something from the PlayStation 2. I'm trying to think if I played a game after, like any newer game. I haven't. So the last video game I bought, okay, this excludes like new Doom mods, because people still release Doom mods even to this day. I make new Doom mods as well. But Doom itself was released a long time ago. Now, in terms of a video game that was released recently, honestly, I think the last video game I bought was Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories for the PlayStation 2. I don't know what year that was, though. Now, I did buy Doom 3, I don't even know what year that was either, but I didn't play it. I just bought it. I haven't played San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I did buy Grand Theft Auto 4, I believe, but I never played it. So something from the PS2. I don't know, that's probably like 20 years old. What's your first demo? Okay, I think that's Doom demo. So it would have been on Co-op Build LM, the Tokes Co-op Build mod. I think it was map 7, the Nazi level. And I would have recorded it on Z-Daemon. So I joined Z-Daemon in 2004. And so Z-Daemon is you play co-op, online Doom. And I used to play co-op. And Co-op Build was obviously a co-op WOD. And yeah, map 7. I used to play on the server with other people, but I used to also enjoy playing it by myself. And map 7 was one of those maps that you could play alone and you were able to beat it. That one, though, you did have to die because there was a section that required you to go through a crate maze or something, and the floor was damaging. So, and there were Nazis in the crate maze, and so you had to make your way through the crate maze, and you would die. So it's designed for co-op, but it is possible to press the switch at the end of the crate maze and then respawn and finish the level by yourself. So, were you the #1 player in Super Mario Kart Time Trials? I was, very, very briefly, but I was on the NTSC version. NTSC is the North American version. I was #1 for, I think, like 30 days, maybe even less. Now, I'm going to go more in depth into my Super Mario Kart escapades in a later video, but yeah, at one time I was a big deal in Super Mario Kart. I haven't played it in a long time. When's the last time I played it? I think 2010-ish, something like that. I keep wanting to go back because there are some new strategies that have come out and I want to try them out. I used to have a bunch of world records in it too. I don't anymore. I do on the main website where there's no restrictions on the type of driving you can do. I don't have any world records on that, but there's another website where you have to follow certain rules for driving. And I still have some world records on that, at least the last time I looked. It's not as popular as the main website, obviously, but a lot of the players, a lot of the top players at least from back in the day, they also played on the website. So very good game though. So is that it? I think that's it. That's it. I have no more questions. So I don't know if this was fun. I did enjoy myself. I have some editing to do on the video, so I'm going to go do that. And actually, I have another idea for a future video, which I will do in a couple days. I might even do it tomorrow. I don't know, but it's going to be another, question and answer type video. So anyway, until the next one.